Hi, I think we're live. I think we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. I know I'm a couple of minutes late. I'm only going to apologise for that because I wish I had some magical, amazing, spiritual, divine answer. But the most magical, spiritual, amazing, and divine answer is actually I have a little 4-year-old who I had to try and get to bed, bless him, and wasn't that impressed that I was doing a call tonight and not doing story time with him instead. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but the reality of having a little person and trying to run a webinar at 8 p.m. at night is just hilarious. So welcome, we're here. I can see some people joining in. Hello, it's so good to see you. I can see some people coming in to join us. This is going to be an epic call this evening. Look at this. This is not the most flattering light for me. Never mind. You're just going to have to get past the wrinkles. This is what I look like in the morning when AD wakes up next to me. So, sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it, as am I. So, where do I begin? Where do we begin this evening? I assume if you're laughing at me, that means that you can hear me. Can you just give me a thumbs up or let me know that you can actually hear me on the live stream? If you can, I hope you can. If you're here and joining in, if someone could just, I know there's a couple of minutes delay or about 30 seconds delay. So if someone could just say, yes, you can hear me, that would be amazing. But this evening's call is all about you, all about us. It's all about dreaming big. In 2019, I know so many people are kind of in that space where they're slowing down and thinking about Christmas and reflecting on the year. And if you've joined in any of our last couple of calls over the last few days, you'll know that I'm on a personal mission to make sure that 2019 is going to be epic for you and for me and for everybody else that's connected to EAM. Now, as much as I would love to be there with you to hold your hand every single step of the way, it's much more exciting for me to empower you with some of the ways that you can really use EAM and some of the big concepts that we talk around changing your life and using energy and all of the different ways that you can actually apply EAM to help shift the energy, how to let go of the things that might be standing in your way. And so for me, it's much more exciting that I empower you to do that for yourself. Because you do have the tools, you have the power to shift, change, release, or transform anything that is coming up in your life or anywhere around you. There is a torrential rainstorm outside my window. So if you can hear that battering against the window, then just ignore background noise. It's there. It's to lull you into a nice hypnagogic state, I think. So the reason I really wanted to do this call before Christmas is actually more excitingly for me, before the winter solstice. Now, there is a really big reason for that. The winter solstice, which is on Friday, the 21st of September, is actually a pivotal point of the year in terms of energy. The winter solstice is the deepest, darkest part of the year, but energetically it's what's also known as the hidden beginning. So what's really powerful at this time of year is to let go of all of the things that are potentially standing in your way or have been standing in your way or that you would love to release and let go of, so that you don't take them into the energy of the new year, which is what actually energetically begins on the 22nd. So I want to help you make sure that you've worked on letting go of some of those things so that they don't carry forward into 2019. And that's what we're going to be doing in these calls. What we've been doing the last 2 calls, and we'll be doing again tonight. So does that sound like a plan? Just send me a little message or give me some hearts or thumbs up or something below if that sounds like something that you would love to do. I can still see people joining in with us this evening as well. I can see some hearts. So I guess that means you are up for letting go of some stuff tonight. Are we ready? There's only 2 people who want to play this game. Lots of hearts. Good, good, good. That's much more like it. So this really, what I want you to do over this Christmas period, as well as enjoying all of the amazing, wonderful things that are going on for you, you know, the Christmas festivities, the extra mince pies, the turkey for those meat eaters, spending time with your friends, spending time with your family. I really want you to use this time, this break, over the next couple of weeks as well, to think about preparing yourself as a time to reinvent you. Not reinvent you because there's anything wrong, but reinvent you because there is the version of you inside of you who I know is crying to get out. Now, the reason I say that is because I know that inside all of us, myself included, there is always continually an expanding version of us, something new for us to discover, something new for us to explore, another part of us that we're yet to discover, that we are yet to express in the world. And that is true for everybody. I don't care how spiritually aware you are, how spiritually awake you are, how far along your spiritual path or your personal development journey you are. There is always something inside all of us that we haven't yet discovered, that we need to explore, that is waiting to be expressed. And so I really want to, not only after the call today, but over the Christmas period, I want you to keep exploring this. I want you to keep using EAM and exploring what's going on energetically so that you can start reinventing you and discovering that new version of you. Ready for an awesome 2019. Why would we not want an awesome 2019? So let's begin. There are 3 things that we're going to be talking about today on our call. The first of which for me is about dreaming big and not settling for mediocrity. We're going to be looking at how to transform self-sabotaging patterns that pop up in our life experience. And I'm going to show you how you can use EAM to let them go. And we're going to take a little tiny look at a massive subject, which is really about connecting to creating more wealth, discovering our passion and purpose, and making our impact in the world. Because I believe we're all here for whatever reason to make our own difference. So, with all of that said, it is time to begin. So I hope that sounds like fun. I hope that's got you teed up and ready to come and spend some time with us together this evening. I hope you've also got a notepad somewhere nearby because you are probably going to want to make some notes. And just whilst you are grabbing yourself a piece of paper and a pen, I'm going to be really cheeky because I didn't get myself organised enough before the call and ask for a little glass of water to manifest in my office because I forgot to get a glass of water for me. Please, let's see how long this takes to manifest. Being super cheeky. There you are. I have put my request out to the universe for a glass of water to be delivered at some point in the very, very near future. So let's take a look at dreaming big. Now, I know, as we've been talking about this time of year, people start reflecting on everything that's happened in the year that we've just had, and they start looking forward to the year that we're about to have too. But what very often happens is we start to create our dreams, we start to create our visions, or we think about the things that we would love to manifest in 2019 or whatever the next year is going to be. And the thing is, very often we allow ourselves to only stretch our imagination like this far. We think about, I want to have more money. I might like to earn an extra £5,000 or £10,000, or I might like to change my job, or I might like to move house, or something like that. It's like a tiny stretch. And we think, yeah, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to expand myself this much, and this is the thing that I'm going to allow myself to do. The trouble with the way that most people set goals or intentions for 2019 or whatever the next year is going to be is that we use our consciousness. We use our conscious awareness to create. Now, our consciousness is wonderful. Our conscious awareness is wonderful. The trouble with it is it's also influenced by our limiting thoughts, our limiting beliefs, the things that are already held or stuck in our energy. So by doing that, and only by tapping into what we're consciously aware of, or the thoughts and beliefs that we think we are going to allow ourselves to experience, what we actually do is limit our potential to create something new. We limit our potential to expand and to create something beyond our wildest dreams. And the reason this happens is because we've been taught to play small. From a very, very, very tiny age, those of you who tuned into the call I think we did on Friday, where we were talking about the new paradigm, old paradigm and new paradigm. Old paradigm ways of living are all about living in fear. They're all about lack. They're all about scarcity. They're all about not having or playing small or having just enough. And for many of us, we have been brought up by parents or friends or family members. Oh, look, my glass of water manifested. I love this. Thank you, universe. Thank you, darling. See, ta-da! Amazing what happens when you ask. So, hold on. Thank you. We've been brought up by our friends or family who have also been brought up with that very similar mindset that, don't count your chickens before they hatch, or our parents or grandparents maybe were even brought up during the war where they were living on rations, or things were really stretched, or, people were very frugal with the way that they lived their lives and lived their life experience. And that has all been passed down to us. Now, there are different ways that that's been passed down to us as well, depending how far you want to go down the energetic rabbit hole. But the most obvious way is it's been taught to us, the thoughts and beliefs that have been passed on from our parents or friends, family, and teachers who taught us to play small, to only think about what's possible or what other people have experienced, and not to stretch ourselves too far. It can also be energetically, they've now shown scientifically that beliefs and thoughts and experiences are actually passed on through the generations. Now, science would claim that it's passed on through the DNA. Energetically, we know that it's actually passed on through the energy, through our generational patterns, through the energy that's passed on through family lines. Now, that might be a little bit mind-blowing for some, but it's also something that's incredibly empowering, because using EAM, you can actually shift, change, and transform beliefs, thoughts, patterns, experiences that have been passed on through the family. So things that your parents might have experienced, or things that your grandparents might have experienced, or things that your grandparents' grandparents might have experienced are influencing you and impacting your life every single day, even though you don't know it. And one of the magical things you can do with EAM is actually shift and change that energy so that you're no longer playing out the patterns of the things that have been happening in your family. Dun, dun, dun. I'm playing dramatic music there for you. That's really big. Like, please, can someone give me a heart or thumbs or something if you're like, that's really big. And it's really exciting because it means that you also have the power to shift and change it. And by changing it, you change it for you, and you change it for everybody else in your family, your lineage, the people that are in your life right now, your children and generations that come after you, and also the people that have come before you in this experience as well, which is massive. All by shifting and changing your energy. So the reason I'm saying this is because I want to invite you to dream big. I want you to understand that some of the things that stand in the way of you really creating that bigger life experience are actually things that have been passed on, however they've been passed on, but all of it is just energy. And that means that in order for you to work past it, we need to find a way to step past the resistances that we're already holding in our experience right now. So the way that we do that with EAM is by tapping into our vision. For those of you who've been through our free program called 5 Days to Flow, you'll know that on day 4, we spend a whole day talking about the power of your vision and visualization, because it is huge. By connecting to your vision, what it actually allows you to do is to step past the experience of the life that you've had already. 1 second to show you. One moment, let me just refer to my manual. Has anyone seen this? Oh, it's called The Ultimate Self-Help Book, if you haven't got a copy already. But this is a visual of the model that we take people through. This is our bigger program, for those of you who haven't seen this, called the Energy Evolution. But you'll see, trying to do this back to front, here, what sits over the top of everything is your vision. And the reason that I talk about your vision all the time is because your vision is the thing that allows you to dream big. Your vision is the thing that allows you to experience way beyond anything you could consciously dream up, conjure up, or imagine. By tapping into your attractive vision, and I don't just mean, the way that people usually do visions or visualizations or vision boards is like they think, oh yeah, I want a new house, and they go and find a picture of a house that they like, or they find a car that they like in a couple of holidays, and like that's the expanse of somebody's vision. That's all they allow themselves to stretch to. With an EAM, we do it a whole different way. So for me, your attractive vision is actually a work in progress. Your attractive vision means that you step beyond your current life experience into something that is way, way bigger, and into something that you could never possibly imagine from the life experience that you live right now. You're probably thinking, how on earth do we do that? So the way that we do that is by bypassing, get my words out tonight, is by bypassing our conscious awareness. And the easiest way to do that is to actually allow yourself to get into a meditative state. When you allow yourself to get into a meditative state and you go into a different brain wave, the theta brain wave is a magical place. In there, you're able to tap into another level of our experience. We're able to tap into a whole other level of our life that we don't have access to when we're in our conscious day-to-day experience. So by tapping into this meditative state and allowing our brainwaves to settle into that process, what we're actually able to do is energetically step past everything that we would experience on a day-to-day basis and experience something bigger, something more, and something new. Now, the thing that's how am I going to do this? I'm going to draw you a picture. The flip chart's coming out. For those of you who've been on any of my calls before, you will know the flip chart always ends up coming out. So let me just get this for you. Hold up. Just while I'm doing that, if this is making sense so far, please do give me. Can you see this? Do give me some hearts or thumbs or something below, because it seems to have gone to sleep and I don't know if anybody is even still here. Who's still here? I think they're still on. I think I'm still alive. Here we go. It seems to say that we are. If you are asking me questions, at the moment my page is frozen, so I can't see if you are asking any questions at all, but hopefully, somebody has said something. Okay, fab. So your vision, what stops you from actually seeing your vision? most people aren't, and what we're talking about here is about this dreaming big, stepping into a whole new reality. The thing that stops us from actually seeing our whole new reality or dreaming bigger than what we've got going on is exactly what I've just been talking about. The resistances that we are already holding in our energy and in our aura. Now, for those of you who've done any work with me so far, whether it's inside 5 days to flow or you've just been following some of our videos on Facebook or whatever, hopefully by now you would have heard me talk about our aura. Now, your aura, for those of you who haven't heard about this, is actually a recording device. Your aura is our electromagnetic energy field that is all the way around you. And your aura is a recording device. And that recording device is recording every single thought, belief, pattern, experience, everything you've ever been through, every emotion you've ever had, everything that you've experienced in your life is held somewhere in your aura. The good things and the not so good things. So, what stops you from actually seeing your vision is, we're back again with the stick ladies. Imagine we've got all of these different levels of our aura. And out here is your future. Now, imagine you're looking through your mind's eye, not these two that you see in the front of your face, but this gorgeous one that sits just here in between your eyebrows. It's called your third eye. Now, your third eye is a very powerful part of your energy system, which enables you to tap into your intuition. This is for people who are clairvoyant or might be able to see pictures or images. It just means that their third eye is quite well developed. We all have a third eye, and it doesn't matter whether you can see things visually or not, it is still always working for you. Now, your third eye is kind of like your seer of the future. It's the thing that allows you to tap into and reconnect to, read other information and energy that you wouldn't normally see with your eyes, your eyes that you use on a day-to-day basis. So our third eye is up here. Do that in a different colour. Now, what stops us from really using our third eye, if you were to imagine your third eye is trying to look out into your life, and what your third eye is reading is all of the things that are held in the different levels of your aura. So this is the etheric, emotional, excuse my handwriting, mental, and then outside of that we have some others. Every emotion you've ever experienced, every thought and belief you are holding in your energy is held somewhere here. If you've got thoughts and beliefs that are supporting you, are powerful, are positive, are leading you forward on your life experience, then what your third eye sees and the future that you see ahead of you is a really positive, bright outlook where everything is amazing and full of unicorns and rainbows and all of those wonderful things. However, if the information that is currently held in your aura, the emotions you're experiencing are like depression, fear, overwhelm, frustration, boredom, you're feeling like you're not good enough, that you can only possibly expand yourself to this place, these are the things that are standing in your way, that you don't have the time, that you don't have the money, that you don't have the fill in the blank, then what you see in your life experience is exactly those things too. So this is happening all the time. Our insight and what we're looking at, our world, our life experience is going on all the time. The work that we do with EAM is to shift and change what is held in your aura. All of these things got here because of our life experiences, and all of them have created an energy imprint in our aura, which we then continue to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat until we do something to shift, change, or replace the information that is held there. Now, for those of you who know the 5 steps of EAM already, step 4 is where we release that resistance. This is where we release the resistant stuff that's already held in your aura. Step 5 is where we then replace. That's when we replace what's held in your aura with something you would choose to think, feel, believe, create, or experience. So, when we're talking about dreaming big, expanding beyond what we have already experienced in our lives, if we only use our conscious awareness, if we only sit there and think, oh, maybe I'd like to do, maybe I'd like to get a new car, or maybe I'd like to get a new job, or maybe I'd like to get a whatever, all we're allowing ourselves to do is to look at the life that we're seeing already. To dream big, we need to take us from here, almost up out of our body, and allow ourselves to step past our own aura and our own energy into our future, so that we can see beyond all of this stuff and see the future that is out there waiting for us to come and meet it. I really hope that this is making sense to you. Please, can someone write something underneath if this is making sense? So to dream big, this is what you need to do. Step out of our current experience, get yourself into a meditative state, the theta experience, the theta brainwave. Take yourself on a meditative journey, and step into your future, past the experience of the life that you're having already. Now, by doing that, what happens is you start to see the possibilities that are out there for you. They are way, way bigger than you can ever think of by just using our current life experience. Now, the way to start doing that is to follow an awesome, I just might happen to have one, an awesome meditation that helps you connect to your attractive vision. Now, this is huge. I could literally spend like a whole day talking about this. But basically what this is the limit of our conscious mind. And by tapping into the powerful visualization, we're able to dream much bigger. We bypass our conscious limitations and step into the future of everything that's possible. Now, for those of you who are, and I can see some of you on here already, who are already in our 10-month program or in the Energy Evolution, which is our 10-month journey, I bang on about this all the time. I get people to go back and revisit their vision and revisit their visualization on a regular basis. Because as you go on the journey, whether you're using EAM, whether you're in the Energy Evolution, whatever it is that you're doing, as you go on the journey to changing what's happening in your energy, what you'll start to get is more clarity on your vision on a day-to-day basis. So as you release this resistance that's in your aura, as well as having done the visualization, which allows you to step forward into the future, into something magic, what you'll start as you begin to clear this resistance in your aura and change it for something that's positive, that's supportive, that's in flow, more of your vision will become clear to you in your day-to-day conscious experience. You start to have those magical opportunities. You start to meet those amazing people. You start to have those chance meetings. You start to meet those people that come into your life. You read the right paper, you see the right thing on the news, you get the right post coming up on Facebook, whatever it might be. And the reason is not that they haven't been there before, not that those messages haven't been there for you before, but because you had so much resistance going on in your energy, you didn't see them. And I'm saying you, we all have this, we don't see them. So in order for you to see the signs that the universe is sending to you all the time, you have to release the resistance that's in your energy. And it is a process. I wish I had a magic button that you could just release it all at once, because that would be amazing. And EAM is genuinely probably the nearest thing that you can have to making that happen. but it is a process of releasing the resistance. It's a lifetime of beliefs and thoughts and emotions and patterns and things that you've been holding on to that are stopping you from getting this clarity, and they're the things that also stop you from dreaming big. So how can use, for those of you who know the 5 steps already, you can use EAM. You can use EAM to obviously release the resistance that's here. Work on whatever's standing in your way. Notice when you're thinking about something that if you're limiting yourself or limiting your experience in any way by the things that you're thinking, the things that you're saying, the things that you're doing, the way that you're behaving. Perhaps you even notice yourself saying things that your parents used to say. Oh, who's ever done that? I know I have. And it's, oh, what's going on here? Can't even tell which way I need to sort my hair out now. Not that one. Oh, this is hilarious. There we go. Yay. So don't limit yourself. Sorry, I'm just laughing at myself with my hair quiff. So don't limit yourself and your life experience. Use the 5 steps of EAM, the energy alignment method, to release the resistances that you notice coming up, and you will begin to start seeing things more clearly. You'll start to imagine greater possibilities. Now, the obvious thing that I would also suggest is that you actually follow one of our powerful visualizations as well, because what they enable you to do, the visualizations that I've created, bypass all of this, switch off your conscious thinking, take you up, out of your head, over here to your future. And the things that you see when we do this powerful visualization are way beyond anything that you could possibly imagine with your conscious awareness on a day-to-day basis. And I know some of you who've done this with me already will probably be able to share some of your experiences, those that you are watching this live. The magic that happens when you do this is mind-blowing, because you're able to see so much more than you could possibly ever think up before. Now, if you are going to be using your sway to help you make decisions about things that you're using in your future, I want to give you a kind of health warning with it, I suppose. Your sway is not a predictive device, okay? The sway that we use within EAM, for those of you who don't know what your sway is a way of tapping into your energy, to read what's happening in your energy, the information that's being held somewhere in your aura. What the sway tells you is the frequency that you're vibrating, the thoughts that you have, the beliefs that you have, or the things that might be stuck or held in your energy. So if you're using this sway to help you predict things about the future, or ask questions about things in the future, the yes and the no that you get isn't necessarily, yes, that thing's going to happen on that day at that point in time in the future. What it means is, yes, your energy is aligned to those things happening in that time frame on that day at that time in the future. It doesn't necessarily mean that the situation will manifest. The way, and the reason I say that is because there are so many things going on in the universe that are influencing our whole life experience. We're influenced by the planets, we're influenced by other people, we're influenced by the moon, we're influenced by the changing thoughts and beliefs that we have. You know, at the point that you're swaying on whatever it is you're wanting to manifest in your future right now, between now and that point in the future, you might have changed the way you think. You might have changed the frequency you're vibrating. You might have had a different thought. You might have moved the energy to be on a different pathway in a different direction between now and then. So don't use your sway when we're thinking about dreaming big. Remember that your sway is only telling you what is vibrating in your energy. So hope that's all making sense to you. I really, really wish I could see what is going on the chat. In fact, just whilst you are, I will come to that in 1 second. I'm going to pop back to that. So any questions you've got about the visualization, please pop them in underneath. I'm going to pop up another screen in a minute and just come and cross check to make sure that I have answered the things that you need. But Remember that your vision, dreaming big, is about way more than what you can possibly be aware of in your consciousness right now. So if you would love to find out more about your vision and tapping into your big vision, for those of you who have been around, we are running an epic adventure in January for the Ultimate Self-Help Live, which is basically going to be us bringing this book to life. This is like 20 years of energy work, somehow summarized into 400 pages, but there is still probably another 10 books that are not written inside these pages, somewhere inside this head. And at the event, I'm going to be sharing with you some epic ways, a whole bunch of new content that I haven't shared before, including a powerful new visualization where we are going to do this work. We're going to come out of our head. I'm going to take you forward into your future. And we are going to be taking a real, clear, amazing look at the things that are coming in the life that you want. We're going to show you how to dream so much bigger than you could possibly do if you were just doing your visualizations or visioning in the way that we would tend to normally do that. So this is going to be a pretty epic experience, because I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to ruin the surprise, but we're going to be doing something alongside this, which I've never, ever done at one of our live events as well, which is just going to completely transform even the visualization that we normally share inside our 5 days to flow. It's a whole new level of the visualization, which is going to be epic. And I can't wait to share. So for those of you who haven't yet come to register with us for the event in January, please do, because it is going to be a life-changing experience. And if you want to find out more, please go and visit www.ultimateselfhelplive.com. And if you're watching this on the Facebook page later, if you want me to send you the link, just type in the comments, yes, I want USHL, all as one comment, and then just press return, and I will send you a link for that as well. So dreaming big, I really hope that this has all made so much sense for you. And if it hasn't, then please ask the questions, because like I said, 20 years of stuff in here that I am trying to impart. And I know that I have a very big picture way of thinking about stuff. So dreaming big, we want you to create the most epic experience for your life and your future. And the way to step past living a life of mediocrity is to step out of our conscious awareness, tap into our meditative state, step forward into our future, and see the magic that we're creating out here, because this is so much more exciting than anything we could create from here. So I hope that all makes sense to you so far. I am just going to open up another tab really quickly and just come and see what's going on inside the Facebook group, and make sure that you can all see and hear me, which I think we can, and I hope we can. It says that we are still going, so that's just doing this. Oh, what are we going to be doing next? So in a second, we are going to be talking about transforming our life. Here we go. I can see some smiley faces in there. So brilliant. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I love you guys. Yes, I want USL. Is it in the course already, Lewis? No, this visualization that I'm sharing isn't. It's going to be completely new if you're talking about the visualization, and it's all going to be new stuff at this event. So hopefully you're with me so far. I can see that there are some comments on there. I can't see the thread, but I will come back and find anything that is coming up later on for you guys as well. So let's crack on with session 2. So are we ready for part 2 of this, which is all about us transforming our self-sabotage patterns. That's what we are going to be taking a look at now. So for those of you who are just tuning in, I can see some more people tuning in now as well. So for those of you who are just tuning in, this video is all about our self-sabotage patterns. And the reason I want to share this is because these are often the things that stand in the way of us being successful on anything in our journey. And it absolutely breaks my heart, because the very reason that most people come to EAM or on their own personal development or self-healing journey is because they want to change. And the irony is, it's the things that are holding them back, the beliefs, the patterns, the experiences, their things that they're holding in their energy, that are the very thing that are stopping them from actually going on the journey to changing their lives. And I see people tripping up over these same things time and time again, and yet it's the same things that are standing in the way that are stopping them from being successful. I don't know if I've made that very clear, but it is that confusing, and that's why it breaks my heart, because that so many people are just getting stuck in the very habits that are stopping them from doing the work to actually change their lives in the first place. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about in this next part of the call. So hopefully this will make sense to you. Do give me some thumbs and hearts if you're ready for us to have this conversation. So this next piece of the puzzle, I know that I am absolutely going to end up drawing on my flip chart for you again. So for me, this is just, again, just to show you where we're at. This is just, there we are. What we're going to be looking at here is a tiny, tiny, tiny piece of what we talk about here under the your soul element of the much bigger picture and journey that we take people on. And the your soul element for me is made up of 4 parts. The your soul piece is about all of the things that make you, you. They're the elements of your life that only you ever experience. So for me, that's what we would call your energy, your thoughts and beliefs, which is all the mental level of your life experience, your patterns, which is what we're going to be talking about in a second, your emotions, and your physical health. So those 4 things make up you. They're the part that we call your soul. Nobody else ever experiences those 4 things. But it's those 4 things that are very often the thing that stand in the way of us changing. In fact, not very often, every single time, it's the things that are held in the your soul element of your life, your energy, your thoughts and beliefs, your emotions, and your physical health, which stop you from creating change in the other areas of your life. Now, I'm not going to talk about this today in this video, but there is a very, very specific reason why we work in the order that we do, in the way that we do. And most people are trying to work their lives back to front. And it always, always, always begins with your soul. People are trying to change things outside of them without having sorted out the things in the your soul part of their journey first. And then they go on the journey, they try to create change. And this is, again, where these self-sabotaging patterns pop up. They try to create change in their life. And then it all goes wrong and they wonder why. And it's because they are still forever fighting against or pushing against the very things that are still held in their energy. And so in order for you to really create this change that you want in your life, you have to do the work on yourself in a particular order to create the rapid shifts and changes that you really want. So it's kind of that whole go slow to go fast thing. So what are our self-sabotage patterns? Have you ever noticed in yourself that the same thing keeps cropping up time and time again? No matter what you do, it's always kind of the same pattern that you notice yourself repeating, the same thing you notice yourself doing, the same thing that gets in your way, or you might notice that just as you're about to succeed, something crops up and goes wrong, or you find yourself going back into old ways of thinking or repeating patterns, or you think, oh, I'm like 2 years further on in my journey and everything around me looks exactly the same. And we end up saying things to ourselves. We end up just saying the same things to ourselves time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. Now, I'm going to have to draw on my flip chart again. I knew that I would. Sorry about that. So our aura. Where are we? Again, we're back to the aura. As you might be able to tell, if any of you've watched any of my other videos, I draw auras a lot. So for those who, again, are just tuning in, your aura is your electromagnetic force field. It's an electromagnetic frequency that is all around you. It is a measurable energy field, which can be measured up to 20 feet away from you. Your aura is a recording device that holds everything you've ever experienced, and everything that we would call our subconscious and conscious awareness is energetically held in our aura. However, what we're talking about here are our self-sabotage patterns. There are actually 7 layers to our aura, but the ones that we experience on a day-to-day basis, so these first 4, our physical body, our etheric, emotional, and mental energy. So what we're talking about here are self-sabotage patterns, and our self-sabotage patterns tend to be held here on the mental level of our energy. Think about them in terms of thinking, or things that you, it's like our programming, the pre-recorded versions of the way that we would automatically respond to things. If you want to put it into our physical body, you would look at this as things that you would associate with the brain. And that's what this mental level of our energy is all about. So all of our patterns, all of our stories, all of our self-sabotaging patterns are held somewhere here. As we were just talking about in the previous part of the training, that our aura is this recording device. And the reason that that is wonderful is because this recording device enables us to learn things from our environment. And we've learned so many of these things as we've grown up. Before the age of 7 or 8, we are literally in a hypnotic state for that entire time. We are a giant sponge absorbing everything in a hypno state. So everything we've seen around us, everything we've believed, everything that's been said to us, everything we've experienced before the age of 7 or 8 has been ingrained in us, in our energy. And during that time, and obviously throughout the rest of our lives, we use the experiences that we've had to make decisions. We assess the world, we assess other people, we assess things about ourselves, and we make choices. Now, those things become our core beliefs. Those things also become our patterns and our ways of dealing with what we see, think, feel, and experience in the world outside of us. So many of us, in fact, all of us, are running our lives on the experiences of a 7 or 8-year-old person. Now, that might explain some things that are going on in our lives. For some people, that might make perfect sense. Oh my God, I'm running my life on the beliefs of a 7 or 8-year-old. But we're all running our lives on the beliefs of a 7 or 8-year-old, unless or until we have done the work on ourselves to shift and change some of those beliefs and become consciously and energetically aware of them. Now, the reason I want to talk to you about that is because these beliefs that a 7 or 8-year-old child has created are running our lives, and these are the things that create these self-sabotaging patterns that stand in the way of us changing our lives now. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter, whether you know this stuff or not. unless or until we do the work to shift or change it, whether that's with EAM or any other self-help method that you've worked with, unless we shift and change it, and most importantly, shift and change it in our energy here, those patterns will keep on replaying in our life experiences. It is there. We are designed to do that. And the reason that it's done the reason it works that way is because it's to help us be able to experience more of the world. It helps us to run things on autopilot. So the reason we become a giant sponge as a child is so that we can learn things about the world. And it means that we can stop thinking so consciously about things. We can start doing things on autopilot, like going to the toilet, learning to drink, eating, driving a car, learning how to read and write, all of those things. You don't think about them consciously anymore because you've learned how to do them on a subconscious level. In exactly the same way, we have learned to run our lives on a subconscious level before the age of 8. So the way in which for us to shift and change these, we have to do the work on changing these patterns that our lovely, amazing 7 or 8-year-old child created. Because let's face it, what you are experiencing at the age of 7 or 8 may not be true in your life right now. Dun, dun, dun. Do you think your life might have changed a little bit since then? Do you think you perhaps have more insight about life and about the world since then? Do you think that maybe our 7 or 8-year-old might have made a few wrong assumptions about some of the things that are happening in the world based on the things and the people and the things that are around us that we experienced at that time? Yes, I think that you would probably agree. So, really, really, really common self-sabotage patterns that show up in our lives are things like, and give me some yeses underneath these. These are things that I see happening for people all the time. And if you recognize any of these, the good news is we can use EAM to let go of the pattern. So do you ever, and give me a big yes underneath the video if this resonates with you at all. Do you ever find yourself giving up on something before it gets really good? It's kind of like that old analogy of, the miner who's digging for gold and they stop just inches away from when everything was about to get good. So a pattern, that is one self-sabotaging pattern that I know shows up for a lot of people. Another one is people creating chaos and drama around them when things start to get good. I can see lots of yeses going in on the chat for this now as well. So people creating drama around them when things start to get good. Also, another one, being a victim, or what we would call within the AM, a puller energy. So stepping into the, I can't do this, I'm too sick, too ill, too skint, too broke, too tired, too overworked, too overwhelmed, to this, to that, to you fill in the blank. And the reason I say that is because, and again, think about a 7 or 8-year-old, how do we tend to get the attention that we want from around us, from our parents? Is usually when we're sick or unwell or when something's wrong. That's when we tend to get most attention from other people around us. When everything's going right, people just crack on with what they're doing. They don't give us the time, energy, and attention. So this victim mentality is almost born into us naturally, because when we cry as a child, that's when we get attention. When we hurt our knee, that's when we tend to get the most attention. When we're sick, that's when we tend to get the most attention. So the victim state, the puller energy state, is something that is almost trained into us from a very, very, very young age. But it is also, as you grow older, a sabotaging pattern that will stand in the way of you shifting and changing your life. So another pattern, does anyone ever find themselves focusing on the biggest challenge that they have in their life and talking about it all the time to everyone that will listen and telling the same story about why their life isn't working and why things can't change? Have we ever done that? I know I have. Again, self-sabotaging pattern that is standing in the way of you changing. Justifying why things aren't changing in your life, and telling the story of all the things that are going on. Blaming other things, other people, other situations for our life experience. And part two of that is therefore not taking full responsibility for everything that we have going on in our lives. And again, for me, this is a massive one that I would talk about all day, every day, around the power of self-responsibility. We are the ones who are here to create our life experience. It is down to us to be fully responsible for the way that we think, the way that we feel, what happens in our energy, and everything we create in our life experience. For those of you who tuned into one of my other calls the other day, we talked about this new paradigm. The old paradigm way of living is about blame and shame and not taking responsibility, disempowering ourselves, making it somebody else's fault or responsibility for us to change our lives. The new paradigm way of living your life and stepping into your life experience is for you to be fully responsible. And that means not allowing other things, people, life experiences, things that have happened to be the ruler or be the reason why we don't change our lives or change the way that we think and feel. Not allowing ourselves, another one that if you might have this going on, not allowing ourselves to be top priority. So putting everyone and everything else first. The way other people think, the way other people feel, what other people say, what other people do, what other people say we can do, can't do, shouldn't do. Worrying about keeping somebody else or other people happy before we put our own happiness first. Not taking any action. So that was another self-sabotage pattern. Not taking any different action. Do you ever wonder why life ends up looking exactly the same, but we end up doing exactly the same things time and time and time again, and then we wonder why our life experience isn't any different? And another one, last one, that you might want to write this down is telling other people what to do and then not doing it for ourselves. Has anyone ever done that? I know I have at some point in my past as well. But telling other people like, oh, I've learned all of this amazing stuff called EAM and it's brilliant and you should be using it to change your life. And then not doing it for ourselves as well. Now, they are just a few of many different self-sabotaging patterns that can be showing up in our life experience. Now, the good news is that all of them are just stories. All of them are just patterns, information that is held somewhere here, in this level of our aura. Now, if it's just energy, which it is, because everything is just energy, it also means that you have the power to shift, change, and transform it, which you can do with EAM. So we're going to do one of these together in a minute. I'm going to show you how we can do this together. But the reason, no, I'm not going to tell you that tonight. Sorry, I was going to share it with you, but it's like a whole another 20 minutes for me to explain. There is a very good reason why these patterns show up here on the outer edge of our life experience. This is what we would call our earthly energies. And that means that they're the things that we live and interact within in our day-to-day experience. Now, I'm not going to share this with you today because it won't blow your mind, but it will just be another 20 minutes for me to talk through and explain it. But these self-sabotage patterns are here for a reason, and they show up here for a reason, because we are designed to stay safe, and everything that we do in our life experience is around maintaining this safety or this homeostasis. in our life so that everything kind of remains still. We know the status quo, we know how we can manage our life experience. Now, what I want to do is show you how you can actually use EAM to release some of these patterns from your energy. Okay. I'm just going to make myself a note here. Okay. Are you ready? You're like, tell me now. Yes. You want me to tell you now? I'm not telling you today. You'll have to wait. You have to come and spend some more time with me if you want me to tell you the rest of that bit. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can use the 5 steps of EAM to actually work on releasing a pattern. So I want you to stand up on your feet. We're going to do this exercise together. And I want you to, I'm going to show you how to work on self-sabotaging patterns. Someone gave me an angry face then because I'm not telling you. Seriously, I can talk for days and 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 days. There is so much stuff in here. So I'm going to contain myself and teach you the things that I said I was going to teach you tonight. But I really want to do this exercise with you today. I am going to show you how you can work on letting go of these sabotaging patterns that are held in your aura. So if you find yourself doing any of these things, you can follow this process to work on releasing the patterns from your energy. So let's think about what's one of the most common ones? Believing that we don't have enough. Let's work on that one together as a pattern. So up on your feet, please. Whether you're watching this in the Facebook group with me live, whether you're watching this as a video later, I actually want you to do this with me now. So stand up with your feet hips width apart, close your eyes. Close your eyes for me. And I want you to make sure that the back of your knees are relaxed, that your hips are relaxed, nice and loose. Take a nice deep breath. Okay. And then what I'm going to lead you through are the 5 steps of EAM. I'm going to guide you through the process and we're going to do this one working together. So we're going to work on one belief of believing that you don't have enough. Okay? Because this is a common pattern that I see with a lot of people. I don't have enough time, money, wealth, abundance. We're going to talk about that in the next session in a second. So close your eyes and I just want you to, step 1, we're going to ask your body the question. So I want you to ask your sway, just close your eyes and relax and say, do I have a habit or do I have a pattern of believing I don't have enough? And then I want you to notice whether your body sways forwards, which is usually a yes, or backwards, which is usually a no. And you might need to reword that question for you ever so slightly just to use the right language for you. But do I have a habit or pattern of believing I am not good enough or I don't have enough? So step 1, you ask the question. Step 2, your body is going to respond and give you that yes or that no. Okay. Now, step 3 is called you experience. Now, there are many, many, many ways to do step 3, but the one I want to show you today is how to use this by using numbers. We don't feel our beliefs. We don't feel our patterns. It's not like an emotion. When you think about something of like, when you think about a pattern of something like not being good enough or not believing that you're good enough, you don't feel our emotions inside of it. We don't feel our beliefs inside. I must get my words out today. And so the way for you to work on your beliefs and patterns is by using numbers. Now, you can use your sway to ask your energy, how many times have you repeated that thought, that belief, or that pattern in your life? So I want you to ask this way, have I repeated this pattern of not having enough more than 1,000 times. And then your body's going to give you this sway forwards, which will be a yes, or a sway backwards, which will be a no. Okay, so just let me talk you through the process and just ask those questions along with me. So I hope you are stood up and following this process through so I can talk you through it slowly. So say, for example, I ask the question, do I have a pattern of believing I don't have enough? And my sway said yes. Mine just said no, which is good. But my sway just said yes. And I said, have I believed that more than 1,000 times? It might say yes. So then I'd say, okay, have I believed it more than 10,000 times? It might say yes. Okay, have I believed it more than 100,000 times? Yes. Have I believed it more than 1,000,000 times? Yes. Okay. Have I believed it more than 2 billion times? No. Okay. So somewhere between 1,000,000 and 2 million times, I have repeated the pattern or the belief that I don't have enough of something. So what we're actually measuring by asking the numbers is the number of times that you've repeated that pattern in your life. Now, the reason that's important is because those 2 million patterns of not having enough or not believing you are enough as a self-sabotaging pattern is sat there in your life experience every day as you're going about your life, doing the things that you're doing. You've got 2 million of these patterns of not being good enough carried around with you in everything that you do. Now, bearing in mind how many self-sabotaging patterns, thoughts, beliefs, and things that we have, can you imagine what is influencing our life experience every day by carrying this stuff around? And this is why we always begin the journey with working on your soul element, working on your energy, thoughts, emotions, and our physical health first, because we need to clear these things up, because we can't possibly start changing all of the other things in our lives unless or until we've released these sabotaging patterns that are standing in the way of everything that we do. So by asking this way, how many times have I repeated that? That's what we're doing. We're looking for the number of patterns, the number of times you've repeated that pattern that's held in your energy, and that's the answer the sway is giving to you. So what you would do is just use the sway to ask, say it said, where did we get to? It said no more than 2 million. So we might say, do I have more than 1.5 million? And it would say no. Do I have more than 1.2 million? It would say no. Do I have more than 1.1 million? No. So we know that somewhere between 1 million, because it gave us a yes, it was more than 1 million, and less than 1.1 million. Now, you do not need to go and find the absolute individual number. It's just to give you a ballpark before you move on to step 4 of the process. So use the sway with step 3 to define a ballpark for the number that you need. And then with step 4, we're going to work on releasing all of those all at once. This is one of the most magical things about EAM, is you do not need to find the 1.1 million patterns, the times that you've repeated that in your life, because you would be spending a very long time working on finding them all. We can work on releasing all of those patterns all at once. And this is one of the reasons why EAM is so quick at helping you shift, change, and transform things. So 2 million patterns or whatever it was. So find your number, whatever yours is. I'm going to use the 1.1 million that we've said in the example, but I want you to use whatever came up for you. So just close your eyes, pay attention, relax the back of your knees, and just be present with yourself and repeat these words after me. I'm ready to release these, and then insert the number that you've just found or the ballpark of the number you found, beliefs or patterns that I don't have enough. I release them from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. We'll say that another 2 times. I'm ready to release these 1.1 or 1.2 million or whatever your number was, patterns of not believing I have enough. I release this pattern from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release these, and then find the number that you've got, patterns of believing that I'm not good enough or I don't have enough, whatever your wording was. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. And take a nice deep breath in and out. Okay, now I want you to ask your sway, have I released these 1.1 million patterns of believing I'm not good enough? And obviously insert your number. Or do I still have 1.1 or whatever your original number was, patterns of not believing I'm good enough? And hopefully your sway will give you a sway backwards. And what you can now do is keep asking the sway. So check in with the numbers. So if it said no, I don't have more than 1.1 left, I might say, do I have more than 500,000 left? No. Okay. Do I have more than 100,000 left? No. Do I have more than 10,000 left? No. Okay. Do I have more than 1,000 left? Yes. Okay. So as soon as you've got a yes, then what you would do is repeat step 4 again to work on releasing the rest of those patterns. So let's do that again. For those of you who are watching the video or joining us on the call tonight, we're going to do that again. I'm ready to release these remaining patterns of not being good enough or not having enough. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release these remaining beliefs or patterns of not having enough or not being good enough. I release this from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release these remaining patterns or beliefs around not being good enough. I release them from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. And take a nice deep breath in and out. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that again. Ask the sway again. Do I still have more than 1,000 or whatever the number was that you just got down to? Do I still have 1,000? Then I'd say no. Do I still have more than 100? No. Do I have more than 50? No. Do I have more than 10? No. Brilliant. Do I have more than one pattern remaining of not being good enough? No. Brilliant. That means you've let them all go. Yay! So ask this way, have I released all of these patterns of not being good enough? And see what your sway says. I just want you to check in with that for yourself. I can see some yes, yes, yes going on in the comments. Does that mean that you've... I'm so guilty, bless you. Brilliant. Same. I've taken responsibility. Brilliant. Oh, love this. I'm going to come back and read all your comments later, you guys, because it's awesome. Thank you, Carolyn, for being on there to support, and Tiff and Sharon and Jude. God, you guys are amazing on there commenting and supporting everybody. So have you check in with the sway? Has that given you a shift or change inside? Have you released all of the beliefs that were coming up around that? So hopefully your sway has given you a yes forward. So once you've done step 4 and it's given you that test, you've said yes, it's allowed you to sway forward. Now you are ready to do step 5. Now what we've done is released those 2 million patterns that were held here in our energy. And what we want to do is redirect that energy that was held here and transform it into a belief or pattern that is going to support us. So now with step 5, this is where we get to manifest. This is where we get to think, feel, choose, believe, or receive anything that we want. So close your eyes for me for a moment and put your arms in the air above your head. This is the best way for you to do step 5 because it helps you to receive more easily. Make sure that your hands are flat like this. And I want you to say, close your eyes. I'm ready to allow myself to create supportive patterns that will lead me on my journey. I believe and live my life as if I have more than enough. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to allow myself to create a new pattern of always having enough. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to allow myself to create a new pattern of having an abundance of everything that I need, want, believe, or I'm ready to receive. I allow this into my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Take a nice deep breath in and keep your arms up. And you should notice your arms get really heavy, as if something's just landed in them. And I want you to slowly bring your arms down by your side with your palms facing up. And what that does is just allows it to drop down into your energy. So hopefully you felt that. Don't worry if you didn't, it's absolutely fine. The same thing will still be happening. It's just some people are able to feel what's going on in their energy. So I'd love to know in the chat, I'm going to come and have a super quick look inside the Facebook group. What came up for you then? Did you feel it? What came up? Did you feel it? Did you let it all go? And don't worry if I did that exercise too quickly for you as well, then you can always go back and re-watch this. There will be lots more examples of ways to use the 5 steps of EAM. But you can use this same process of working with the numbers, using the 5 steps of EAM, working with the numbers to work on any self-sabotaging patterns that you have that you know stand in the way of you changing your life. Because we want next year, remember, everything we're talking about is about making 2019 freaking awesome for you. And the way to do that is by letting go of all of these patterns that are standing in the way for you here. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in or weren't here earlier on in the call, I am going to be talking more about this at our 3-day live event, which is coming up in January, the Ultimate Self-Help Live, which you can find out more about on theultimateselfhelplive.com. Not the Ultimate Self-Help Live, sorry, ultimateselfhelplive.com. Ultimate Self-Help Live. Or if you are watching this later on my Facebook page, if you want me to send you the link, just write yes, I want USHL, which I should probably write up for you if you want this. Yes, I want USHL, and we will send you, some magic wizardry will suddenly send you a link to find out more about that on our Facebook page as well. But we are, and what I'm actually going to do, I am going to share with you the bit that I didn't share with you tonight. And I'm not saying that just to be mean, but it really is like a mind-blowing thing. But once you get it, you're going to understand why these self-sabotage patterns come up here. And I've already explained to you some of how to do it, but the reason that they show up here and how to recognize when they're coming and why they are coming up in your life experience. And I am going to be sharing more about that at our 3-day live event, but it's much more than just the 3 days, because we're actually going to be working together for a whole month. You're going to have me for the whole of January. We've got 2 live training calls, very much like this, before the event, so that we can work on all of the things that are standing in your way, working on things like getting your sway working for you. You're going to understand why your sway doesn't work, how to tell what your sway is really telling you, because it is telling you an awful lot about your energy. You're going to understand a lot more about that. But we're also going to be looking at some of these self-sabotage patterns that stand in the way and doing the work on those even before we get to the 3-day live event. So then we've got the 3 days together, which are going to be mind-blowing. And then we've got 2 more calls after the live event as well, because we've all been along to those events. We're like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to implement everything I've learned and I'm going to change my life. And then we get home back to our reality, and everything that we've done seems to have disappeared. So I want to be there with you to hold the container, and to help you create that magic and really start implementing everything we do together in your life experience after the event as well. So basically, you've kind of got me for the whole of January, if you want me. So if you want to find out more about all of that, please pop over to ultimateselfhelplive.com, because I am ready to make 2000 freaking epic for you. And I just love teaching, to be honest. That's the real reason I do it, is I absolutely love teaching and sharing, because it's all just energy. And once you get it, once you really start implementing this stuff in your life, I can't explain the magic that really begins to happen. And the only way for you to really explain it is to come and experience it. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing at the event. So for those of you who haven't been yet, just come and do it. And even if you can't get to the live event, you can also join us on the live stream as well. So there is going to be a live stream, which means you can join in from home and you can still wear your fluffy slippers that you got at Christmas, and still wear your pajamas if you really want to. But we will be there doing it as a live stream from home as well. So hope that's all making complete sense to you. We've got one more teach tonight. Can you believe we've got one more teach tonight already for us to do? Is this all making sense to everybody so far? I hope it is making sense for you. I'm going to have a super quick glass of water. And come and see your messages. Ian says, am I coming to Bristol or Cardiff soon? It's London Heathrow. Drive along the M4, Ian, and come and see me. Come and see me at Heathrow for 3 days. You come to me. I don't have any plans to come to Bristol or Cardiff yet, and it definitely won't be for a 3-day, but we might have some 1-day events coming up next year that will be run by our mentors. So get in your car, Ian, or get on a train and come to Heathrow. It's like an hour and a half on the train. There's zero excuse, zero excuse. But seriously, come and join us for the event. I think this is all making sense to you guys so far. So thank you. Thank you, Graham. It was awesome. So for those of you who did come along to the event in July, it's going to be like that times 3 or 4, because we've got a whole bunch of new content that we're going to be sharing in there as well for those of you who did come to the July event, which was mind-blowing, was epic. So are we ready for our third teach of the evening? Are we ready? Ready? What are we talking about now? Aha, yes. I did prepare some notes for myself this evening, which is quite unlike me. So here we are. We are now, where are we? Taking a look at this. We're not taking a complete look at it. We're having a tiny look at it. I want to talk to you about the your work element of your life, because most people, and I know that I spent an incredibly long time in my life focused on this part of my life, are so focused on their work. And I know that I am a recovering workaholic who still occasionally slips back into her workaholic mode very easily. But I know so many people are I'm doing that consciously, if that makes sense. I know that the work I'm doing consciously. And I also know that the work I'm doing is my passion, is my purpose, is what I'm here for. And I have the odd day, let's keep it real, when I'm not, dancing on rainbows and skipping on unicorns. And there might be elements of my work day sometimes that I don't enjoy. But on the whole, I know that the work that I'm doing is what I'm here for. And I know it's me making my impact in the world. And oh my God, I didn't tell you this at the beginning of the call. For those of you who haven't, I've got something really exciting to share with you, which I am going to share with you before the end of this call. And it's it's actually pretty mind-blowing. So if you tune in, just please stay with me because you're not going to want to miss me sharing this. But the reason I say that is because so many people are getting up every day and going to work and doing something they hate, or doing something that really takes them out of flow and isn't them living their purpose. It isn't them living their passion. It isn't them making their impact in the world. And there is a really big difference between being making an impact, living your passion and purpose workaholic, and not living your passion and purpose and making your impact and being either a workaholic or even worse, hating getting up every day and going to work to do something that you just don't love. Now, the reason I talk about this is because we spend 30% of our life, our living, breathing, waking adult life at work. Why on earth would you want to spend 30% or more of your life out of flow? If you had a choice, would you rather get up every day and love what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the people you're spending time with, and feel like you're actually doing the thing you're here for? Or would you rather get up every day and feel like you're dragging yourself out of bed to go and do something and work for someone, or doing something that is meaningless to you? It's a pretty obvious, it's a rhetorical question really, isn't it? Everybody wants to be getting up out of bed and doing something that's meaningful to them. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be some kind of Mother Teresa or doing some kind of philanthropic thing in the world. For me, living your passion and purpose is about you fully expressing who you are and finding a way of making your difference to the people that you care about, doing something you love that means you are in your most creative, fullest, expanded version of you all day, every day, because that is what life is all about, ultimately. So the irony is that most people who are getting up, and if this is you, I get it, I've been there, I promise, and I'm saying all of this because I want to help you over to the other side. The irony is most people are stuck in a job that they're doing because they want the money, and they think that when they've got the money, then they will be able to leave the job that they don't like, but they don't earn enough money in the job that they don't like to get the money that they want to get out of the situation they're in that they don't want to be in anyway. Does that make sense? So the reason that just feels like a never-ending whirlwind of a trap is because the greatest amount of wealth will always come to you when you deliver the greatest amount of service to the world in the way that only you can. Dun, 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 plays dramatic music. That is really important. The greatest amount of wealth will come into your life when you deliver the greatest amount of service to the world in the way that only you can. Now, when I talk about wealth, I am not only talking about money, and this is a really important distinction to make. For me, wealth is about an abundance of different resources. It's about time, it's about money, it's about happiness, it's about freedom, it's about peace, it's about love, and then it's about cash and money in the bank. Everything, when people think about money, it's never really about the money. It's not really the money that they want. It's all of those things, excuse me. It's all of those things that they think the money is going to allow them to have. They want the money because they think the money is going to allow them to have the time, the peace, the freedom, the happiness, the love, the peace, the joy, the bloody, bloody, blah. And so we put all of this pressure on money. And again, another massive subject, which I will definitely be talking about. In fact, we've got a half a day dedicated to focusing on money, wealth, and abundance at the Ultimate Self-Help Live, ultimateselfhelplive.com, if you want to find out more. But we've got a whole half day dedicated solely to talking about money. There is a very, very big reason, as a law of attraction transformational coach / mentor, that I do not teach people about money up front. And it's huge, because money is never about the money. In order to manifest the money, we actually need to have brought the other areas of our life into flow, because what you want the money for is not actually the thing that's going to make you happy. The thing that's going to make you happy is changing and shifting your energy in all of the other life areas, so that you don't need the money in order to be happy. You can actually just be happy anyway. And then the irony is, the money comes. Who knew? Who actually knew? So the reason I'm saying all of this is because I believe that we are all here to make our difference in some way. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to be some kind of Mother Teresa or doing something philanthropic, but we all have skills, we all have insights, we all have knowledge. We've all had experiences in our lives which only we've experienced, which means that we are the only people that can ever teach or share them in the way that we know them. And there are people in the world who need what you know. There are people in the world who need to hear about the life experiences you've had, or there are people in the world that need the knowledge that you have, that to you feels like the most obvious, most mundane piece of information, but to other people is like groundbreaking. And the reason it feels mundane and obvious to you is because it's you in your flow state. It's you in your happiest place. It's obvious to you, but to other people, it's completely not. It might be that you're an amazing mechanic. You can look at a car, someone switches on the engine, they rev the engine, and you're like, do you know what? I know exactly what that is. That is the third washer on the back of the flibbertigibberator that's on the back of the car. I know exactly what that is. That's not to say that was a really bad example. What is a flibbertigibberator? Oh, you can tell I've got a 4-year-old, can't you? But you get my point. When you're in your flow state, in your zone of genius, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're teaching, sharing, coaching, guiding, fixing different parts on a flibbertigibberator, whether you're a plumber, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're a whatever it is that you do, your zone of genius is your zone of genius, because it's you in your flow state, being passionate and loving what you do. And it's obvious to you like that. To everybody else, it's completely oblivious. They have no idea what that is. I'm glad you think my flibbertigibberator is funny. So I want everybody to be living their life, living their passion, living their purpose, doing the thing that lights them up inside, because from that, the abundance, wealth, and then the money comes. But it comes in all forms: the time, the money, the freedom, the love, the peace, the happiness, the joy, and the cash. So money, abundance is a mindset. It is an energy. It is not about the money in your bank account. And the reason that most people don't experience abundance in their lives isn't because of the money that is or isn't in their bank. It's because of the way that they behave around abundance resources. It's the way that they treat time. It's the way that they think about love. It's the way that they talk about getting support. It's the way that they think about their freedom. It's the way that they treat love and peace and passion and, yes, cash. All of them are resources that are abundant to all of us. And the way that we treat one of them is the way that we treat all of them. And the way that we treat something is what is going to be reflected back to us. So if we say things like, I don't have enough time, we are also inadvertently saying, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough support, I don't have enough freedom, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough peace, I don't have enough joy, as well as I don't have enough time. If we treat money like it's to be hoarded, or it's to be kept, or to be stolen or taken or kept from everybody and everything, what else do you think is then going to happen in the rest of our lives? We're then going to start creating situations where time is taken from us, time is kept from us, love is kept from us, support is kept from us, freedom is kept from us, because we're putting out the energy of hoarding, keeping, taking, keeping it. It's mine, it's mine. Do you remember Gollum? For those of you who might have seen Lord of the Rings, you know, it's like, it's my precious. It's that kind of energy. If that's how you are around money, does that seem like a free-flowing energy that's moving into, through, and from and around your life? So the way that you treat all resources of abundance is reflected in the money that you have. It's the time that you have, the love, the peace, the freedom that you have, because all of them are connected to the source of abundance. And that's the thing that you need to tap into. It's the energy of abundance you need to receive. So again, huge subject, huge subject that we are actually only going to talk a little bit about tonight. But the way in which to shift your ability to receive abundance is to change the way that you treat all sources of abundance in your life. So here are some things that you might like to do, and you might want to write these down, okay? And these are things that I want you to start noticing. These are changes that you need to make, or we all need to make and remember, in the way that we treat things in our life, okay? And again, a tiny list from something that is actually really like this long. So how do we shift our energy from a place of lack to a place of abundance? How do we let go of that old paradigm, fear-based way of thinking, living, breathing, and being, and moving ourselves into a new paradigm way of being? How do we live our lives from that place of abundance? The new paradigm is all focused on abundance. It's about having more than enough. It's about having more than enough love, more than enough time, more than enough peace, more than enough freedom, more than enough money, more than enough of everything, because there are unlimited resources available to all. Now, I know that people will come up with but what about all of the people that are starving and don't have water in the world, and all of those things? And I completely get all of those questions, and that is a completely different conversation, and definitely one to be had. However, for you right now, if you're even watching this, I know that you are not somebody who currently doesn't have a roof over their head, you know, doesn't have hot food or running water in your life, if you're even here watching this video. So I'm talking to you about the way that you can start to shift and create these changes in your life right now for you. So how do we shift from this place of lack to this place of abundance? So first of all, let go of time frames. Let go of time frames. When we put a time frame on, I need to have 10 million pounds in my bank account and I need it by Friday, what we actually end up putting out there is more resistance in our lives, which then completely defeats the object of the thing that's coming to you, flowing to you when you're ready. Everything will come to you when you are energetically ready to receive it. When you are energetically open, ready, and expanded enough to receive it. So in order to receive more abundance, and remember, when I'm talking about abundance, we're talking about all of those different resources, you have to be open and ready to receive. Now, the reason, I'm going to just explain to you really quickly why we do, if you've been watching the other videos from this evening, you'd have seen me talk about your energy and your aura. For those of you who haven't, I'm going to draw it for us quickly again. In order for us to receive things into our energy, first we have to do the work on releasing the resistance, because we're holding resistant thoughts, beliefs, patterns, emotions, things that we've recorded in our energy and our aura from before. So with the 5 steps of EAM, what we do, we release this resistance here with step 4. And that resistant energy leaves your energy or relieves your aura. Then with step 5, when we do the manifesting step, what this allows you to do, if you remember, which we just did a short while ago, this lady's just developed very, very, very long arms and very long legs. But the step 5 state with EAM, the step 5 pose, is to close your eyes with your hands in the air. Now, the reason that we do this is because it allows you to receive. This is the receptive receiving mode. It allows you to receive resources or sources of energy and abundance from outside of your aura, or at least further up in your aura. By stretching your hands up, their hands that I've just drawn on there, what you actually do is allow the energy to come into the energy resources that you're asking for to come into your energy more easily. So by doing this work, you are naturally expanding yourself and making yourself more receptive to anything and everything you're ready to receive. So all resources, all abundant resources can come to you by releasing the resistance first from your energy, and then step 5, you can call them all in. And the more that you keep doing that, the more you connect to peace, love, freedom, joy, expansion, money, cash, wealth, love, happiness, the more you call all of those into your energy, the more that your energy is going to raise your vibration, which means that you're going to expand your energy, which means that you become more receptive, which means that more of the resources of abundance you want to come into your life will come to you. So as you go on the journey with EAM, you'll start to notice more and more and more of that happening. So let go of time frames, allow yourself to open up to abundance, trust the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, Jesus, Mary, whoever it is that you speak to, angel, guide, spirit, whatever you call that energy that is something more than what we experience on our day-to-day life experience. It's all energy. It's all something that it's part of a universe that we just don't fully understand. But there is something greater than us that we interact with all of the time. I don't believe it's an all-knowing, ever-seeing presence that's controlling our life experience. It is a co-creative experience that we are influencing from the energy that we put out, but we are also at the same time part of it. And so, without wanting to take us into some weird sci-fi, going into the Matrix kind of conversation, just trust that by doing the work on yourself, by following the 5 steps of EAM, by allowing yourself to be in flow with life experience, you can choose to shift and change anything. You can change your energy and change your reality. And that's exactly what EAM is allowing you to do. Allow yourself time to sit still and allow in the things that you're asking for. Imagine if you're running around all the time and the universe has got this basket for you that it's trying to deliver to you, but you never park your butt long enough for anyone to give you the parcel, then it's really hard for things to be delivered to you. So as much as I am very much about being proactive and going out there and taking action, it's also just as important to sit still and allow things in. Obviously, you can use the 5 steps of EAM to release your resistance to wealth and abundance in your life. But also one of the biggest things that I know stands in the way is people have a need around money. Think about the energy of needing. Need. You know, when you've got one of those needy children who are like, I really need I really need that toy. I really need that thing. I really need, whatever. Does that energy sound like it's coming from a place of expansive openness? Or does it sound like it's coming from an old paradigm place of, I don't have that thing I want over there, I want it now, and I'm putting out resistant energy about the fact that I don't have it. So if you ever notice yourself feeling needy, I need this money so I can, I need this energy so I can, I need this love so I can, I need support so I can. If you ever hear yourself saying those things, if you ever catch yourself saying those things, which we all do, and I will hold my hand up to this still, this is the work for you to do. When you notice this stuff coming up, that's the time for you to work on those beliefs. That's the time for you to work on releasing that need for that thing that you're talking about. And it's so easy to slip into this. I promise I am not judging anybody. I am just trying to guide you on a thing for you to look out on. As soon as you catch yourself being needy around any of those things, that's when it's time for you to use EAM. Check in with the beliefs that you have, check in with the thoughts that you have, release the resistance you have going on, and align yourself to having those resources that you need to have. Pay attention as well to your energy around money. Think about money as an energy, which it is. When a bill lands on your doorstep, do you go, oh, I've got this to do, this to do, this to sort out, this to sort out, this to sort out, all of these things? Or do you lovingly pay that bill and send with it the energy of thanks that you've had that thing, whatever it is that somebody's billed you for, whether it's time that someone's given you, support someone's given you, energy from your electricity company, whether it's food in your stomach, whatever it is. How are you acting around money? How do you behave when you receive money? In the same way, think about what happens with cash. How many people, think about this, and this one blew my mind when we were having a big conversation about this on one of our group Q&A calls a few months ago. Think about what happens when you hand over actual cash, pound notes. Think about the energy that gets passed along with that money. How often do you actually hand that money over to somebody in the shop and you're sending it with love and peace and gratefulness? Now, because you're doing this kind of stuff, you might choose to think about life in that way and you might do it. But most people who are handling that money that's being passed around are handing it over with a, oh, God, that's the last money I've got, or, oh, I've got to spend more money on this, or there are some kind of negative energies or resistant energies being passed along with that cash that you're receiving. So now that you know this, when you get money in your hand, or when you are paying for something, even if you're just doing it on a chip and pin, paying for something at the shop, I want you to release any resistance you have around paying for what you're paying for. And most importantly, I want you to align yourself with paying for it from a place of love and even thanking the person that has just sold it to you, whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself in that place of being thankful that you have the resources, that you're able to even pay for the things that you are paying for anyway, even if it's the last £10 in your bank. Which one is going to bring you more money? Being like, oh, it's the last £10 I've got, or oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing me with this food that I need for Christmas, or this present I have. So there are two things for you to do there that you can shift your energy around money. Change the way that you handle money. Change the way you hand over money, cash or paying by card. Change your energy around it as you're spending money. Enjoy spending money. Be grateful for the money that you spend because you've got it to spend in the first place. And that will allow more money to come to you. And let's all do the world a favor and clean up the energy of the money that is being handed around. So when you receive any money, when you've got cash in your purse or cash in your wallet, I want you to ask the sway, is there any resistance in this money? And it will probably give you a yes. And then you can do step 4. I'm ready to release this resistance that's held in this money, in this cash. I release it from my energy in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. I'm ready to release Any resistance on this money that's in my bank account or this money in my hand, whatever money you're holding, I release it from my energy in all forms and all levels at all points in time. And then step 5, I am ready to allow this money to be sent around the world with love and peace and freedom and joy and abundance. I allow this into my energy for everybody it touches. I send this magic on into the world. Whatever words you want to use with step 5. I allow this into my energy in all forms and all levels at all points in time. Let's shift and change the energy around money. Let's make sure that the money energy we're circulating as it comes into contact with us is changed and transformed for us and for everybody else that comes into contact with as well. So we can do this. We can actually change the whole frequency of energy that gets passed around this country and around the world. So can you all promise me that you will do that as you come into contact with cash? So there are a million things that I would absolutely love to share with you. And I hope that you've enjoyed some of the things that we've been talking about on the call today. But one of the things I really want to share with you, which is actually it's genuinely a really big thing for me. And because we're talking about work and money and making our impact in the world, this is some other new news. For those of you who haven't seen, yes, last week we got my brand new book, The Ultimate Self-Help Book, up to number 1 on Amazon within like 24 hours of it going live. And I never in a million years did I imagine that would happen, but really happy that it did. And thank you so much to all of you who did make that happen. But also, on the same morning, I also had some other really amazing news that is something I never imagined when I started out on this journey would actually happen. I never thought it would. I never even knew that this was actually my thing, but I know that EAM is the work I'm here to do in the world. I know this is me living my purpose, and I know this is me making my impact. And on the same morning, I also got this, which is, are you ready? I need a drum roll for this. Are you ready? Are you ready? So for those of you who can see this, EAM is now a recognised healing modality and complementary therapy around the world, which is massive. So I'm a little bit blown away at the moment, but I'm also really bloody excited. So EAM is now a recognised complementary therapy in the UK, EU, Australia and the US, which means that we are ready to start taking it out in the world in a massive way. It's really huge and really exciting and really big news. It means lots of the things around creating my vision about what we want to do in the world can actually start happening now. So yeah, that was my big news, and I'm really excited to be sharing it with you because that is the beginning of a culmination of 3 years of 3.5, nearly 4 years of work. But it's been an epic journey to get to this point, but it's also the starting point for so many other things that are going to be coming for us as we take EAM out in the world as well. So thank you for letting me share that with you. So please do, please do share that. I will be sharing that good news as well later. But yes, I can see some people talking about a local event in Manchester. Just come and join us for the Ultimate Self-Help Live, because it's going to be completely different to the event in Manchester. Manchester event's going to be awesome, but this 3-day event, even if you can't get there in person, you can come and join us on the live stream as well. Anyway, sounds rude. I do not know what is going on the thread, you lot. I'm going to come back and read all of those comments a little bit later, but the reason I'm sharing that with you is because A, I am really excited, but B, it's also, I just wanted to share with you that by following your passion, even if right now you have no idea where you are, what you want to do, there's just a calling inside of you to be doing something more or something different, please follow it. I had this calling inside of me for so long to, I can't believe it, sorry. All I wanted was just to go back to doing my energy work. And I spent so long hiding from me, from what I really wanted to do, which was really sharing how easy it can be to shift and change your life. And I hid myself behind being an online marketer for about 4 or 5 years. And I didn't follow my passion. I didn't follow my heart. I was hiding all of these things that were going on inside. And I never really understood or never sat there and thought, I know what I'm going to do is create an energy healing modality that I'm going to start taking and training people in around the world. I never did that. I didn't know what the next steps were going to be. All I had inside of me was this calling in my heart to do something more. Sorry. And now after 3.5 years, I've got a best-selling book and an internationally recognised complementary therapy. And I'm sharing that with you not to be like, oh, look at me. I'm sharing it with you because you have no freaking idea where your heart is going to take you. You have no idea where your dreams are going to take you. The only thing that is standing in the way of these things becoming a reality, whatever they are for you, even if you don't know what they are, is that you're not listening to what's going on inside here. And that's why I was going to say a swear word then, why I get so passionate about helping people change their lives and letting go of all of the shit. Sorry, I've sworn. Why I get so passionate about letting people let go of the stuff that stands in their way, because you've all got this inside of you, whatever your thing is. And I want to be there with you in 2019 to help you discover what it is, let it out, find your heart, listen to what's going on in here. And that's why I created EAM, and that's why I share everything I do in the way that I do, and why I want to take it out to the world to as many people as possible, because we've all got it. We've all got potential inside of us, and the only thing that stands in the way is the resistance that we hold. Everybody can make their difference, and I want to be there with you as your guide to make that happen in 2019 and way beyond. So if you would love me to be there with you as your guide, I would love to start 2019 with you as part of the Ultimate Self-Help Live. And the reason that we're doing this 3-day event is because I know so many people want to come on the 10-month journey with us, but whatever it is that's standing in the way for them right now is the very stuff that we need to do the work on. And that's why I want to do this 3-day intensive with you, where I am literally going to blow your mind with love. And I'm doing it intentionally because I want you to dream so much bigger. I want you to expand into something so much more. I want you to create the life you bloody deserve, and I want to be there with you to make it happen. So in January, you can join me for 3 days, the 18th, 19th and 20th of January. You can do it in person with us at London Heathrow and be in the room with me and our amazing team of EAM mentors. Some of them are on the call with us tonight and have been already answering all of your questions and stuff on the thread. They are phenomenal people, and they've been on an 18-month journey with me to learn and understand this. They haven't just been on, a little 2-day event. I am a tyrant. I make everybody live and breathe and eat and sleep this stuff before they get the title of being an EAM mentor. But they're going to be there with you over the 3 days, whether you join us on live stream or whether you're joining us at the live event. You're going to be working in small groups, and the mentors are going to be there to help you shift and change and transform whatever is standing in your way and holding you back. Now, before the 3 days, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the 2 days that begins on the 9th of January. We're kicking off with our first live training call, where I'm going to be really helping you make sure that you are able to sway. And over that time, we're going to look at how to make sure that you're swaying and how to ask the right questions with EAM, because I know they're two of the things that stop people really getting started with using it. And then we've got the 3-day live event, and then after the 3-day live event, you've got me for another 2 weeks after that as well, where I'm going to be there with you to help you implement all of the things that we've done over the 3 days into your reality. And I say reality because none of it's real anyway, but that's another big conversation. But into your day-to-day experience, so that you don't just drop off the end after the 3-day event, because we've all been to those things. We're like, I promise I'm going to change my life. And then we get home and it's all gone within like 48 hours. So I'm going to be there with you for 2 weeks after the event as well to help make sure that happens. Now, I know it's just coming up to Christmas, and I know that some of your pennies or money's probably invested in other things like socks and smellies and all of those lovely things. But I really would love to be there to help make sure that you can change your life in 2019. So if that sounds like it's something for you, then you can come and join us either via live stream if you can't make it to the event, or in person, and you can split the cost over 3 months as well. So if you want to find out more, come and visit www.ultimateselfhelplive.com, or if you're watching this on the video later on Facebook, then just type in here, yes, I want USHL, and I will send you the link for you to come and get registered. We are already, so we've already sold quite a lot of places, which is awesome, but I know that there are still spaces in the room for you to make it right now. And I would absolutely love to be there with you as your guide for 2019, because quite frankly, it is going to be epic. The energy of 2019 is going to be so different to what we've experienced in 2018. Next year is a number 3 year, which is all about growth and expansion. And I couldn't think of a better way for us to begin your year than to spend a whole month working together on getting you in flow and setting you up, truly setting you up for an epic 2019 by shifting your energy, changing your plans and redirecting your life so that you can create your own big scary vision and follow your heart, because that is my biggest wish for you and everybody else. So I'm not going to run through all of the stuff that you're going to get. If you want to find out more, go over to that URL, www.ultimateselfhelplive.com. Everything you need to know is there. Otherwise, I'm going to be here with you for another hour telling you all about it. But we're going to be looking at the 10 key areas of your life. We're going to do the implementation things before the event, after the event. I'm going to be guiding you through your visualizations. I'm going to tell you the thing that I didn't tell you that was on here. But we're actually, most importantly, this is not an event where you're going to be listening to me just talk on and on and on and on and on for 3 days. This is all about actually doing the work. I am a very practical, kind of action-oriented, hands-on person, which is why we have our mentors there at the event working with you in groups of 8 to 10, so that you've got somebody there as your guide to make sure that you get the shifts and transformations you need. There are no other self-help events I know of out there that deliver that level of support at a 2 or 3 day live event. Most other events I know that I've ever been to, you're stacked in rows. There's nobody for you to talk to, you're just there to listen to the speaker for 2 or 3 days. And we do create a very, very different experience at our live events, because I want you to leave having created those shifts and transformations, not just knowing how to do it. So it's a very action-packed 3 days. We are doing the work. We're actually there with you, creating the shifts, doing EAM, and helping you work through whatever it is that's standing in your way so that you get to change your life. So if that sounds like it would be something awesome for you, whether you can make it to the live event or if you're joining us on the live stream, both will have the same experiences, because we've got the mentors with you to guide you on both sets of the journey. Then please go over, find us on www.ultimateselfhelplive.com, or if you're watching this on a video later, yes, I want USHL, and come and find out. But you need to get registered before the 8th of January, because our first training call starts on the 9th. So please make sure that you get yourself booked in. And I cannot bloody wait. Sorry, I can't wait for us to get started in 2019, really taking the time to implement this in every single area of your life. So thank you for spending 2 hours with me tonight. As you can tell, I do get a little bit animated about stuff, but there is so much more to share than I could possibly spend. Even in the 3 days, there's still so much more to share. But I really want to be there with you as we go on this journey. And I thank you for spending the time with me over these last 2 or 3 calls here inside the group, for being part of bringing EAM to where it is right now. Please, can you give your mentors on here a massive thank you, who've been here with you on the Q&A tonight as well, because they are awesome and I love them all. They've all been on this journey with me over the last 2 or 3 years to help get EAM to the point that we're at now, and there is no way that we would be where we are if it wasn't for them. So please, can you give them some thanks and some hearts on the video underneath? Hearts, 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 love, 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 because I love them all dearly. Have an incredible Christmas. You will be hearing from me over the Christmas period as well. This is officially my last Q&A. However, I know that I've got about 20 things that I want to share with you, so I might end up doing a spontaneous Q&A at some point next week, because I really have an issue with the way that most people set New Year's resolutions, and I want to show you how. Would that be helpful? Do you want me to do a little Q&A next week about setting New Year's resolutions the EAM way? Do you want me to do that? Tell me if you want me to. If enough of you say yes, I might do a little Q&A next week about setting New Year's resolutions the EAM way. Would that be useful? Hopefully you would love that. So if I've got time and if I can peel myself out of my pajamas and off the sofa, I might do a little Q&A for you next week on SMART goals, why they are not smart. And also how to set New Year's resolutions that are actually going to work for you, because I think most people have normally given up on them by like the 7th of January or something like that. Anyway, love you all dearly. I'm going to go and sit down now. Thank you for spending your time with me this evening. Have a wonderful Christmas. Enjoy every bloody moment of it. I will see you in 2019, and I really hope to see you at theultimateselfhelplive.com. Please go and get yourself registered now, because you can save some money if you get your butt in gear and go and take some action and get yourself booked. It would be awesome to see you there, and I really, really, really look forward to an incredible 2019 working with you. Right, for now, I'm off. Thank you. Love ya. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.